place if you know where to start. I smell the blood on me.
I got gapped! I got gapped! I heard the turbos too on that little thing too, man. That's a nice M4. Oh, what? Really? Are you kidding me? The Honda would feeling good now. He feeling good. He trying to challenge this M4. This thing nice. I can't believe that, yo. You bugging, bro. Maybe this, but not that. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Mike from Slow Speed. I'm excited. I'm really excited. That was my first couple of pulls coming outside, man. I've been locked up in the house like a freaking cage animal, and now I'm back. Came outside, had to do one, maybe like two little pulls. And Civic pulled up, nice little 1.5 turbo, and I couldn't keep up. Your boy finally got hit with the vid, but you know, hey, it is what it is. Time to get cracking. Now the parts have been building up. They've been showing up to the doorstep. I just didn't really, I couldn't go out and just film. Oh, what's up, guys? Look at this beautiful thing. So in the past couple of videos, pretty sure you guys seen, we were working on this car. This is my boy's 430. You guys do not know, by the time 60,000 miles, some stuff goes wrong, and we figured it out with no help from any videos. I know you guys seen us taking everything apart and figuring out the issue is and kind of sort of putting it back together for, I guess, the most part, importantly. But yeah, everything's finally buttoned up. Checked it for codes. We did run into a couple codes. However, that was just some sensor issues. So once he comes outside, I'm going to pop the hood and kind of show you guys exactly everything all buttoned up. Took it for a test run. Everything ran fine. So, oh, we left a screwdriver right here, bro. Basically, after we put everything back together, like four sensor faults, because I plugged up something, the wrong thing. So what I did was I took this wire for the map sensor and this for the intake temperature sensor right here. I put this one, I connected it right here to some type of vacuum thing. Maybe that's a tank ventilation system or something. That's good, bro. And then I connected this one right here, which looks like, I think it's like some kind of cam or something like that. Sensor. Yeah, because this might be the exhaust cam. This might be the intake cam or something like that. So yeah, I plugged this one up to here. So ironically, this fits and that fit. But I realized something was wrong because this wire was a little bit too long just to go all the way right here. So we swapped it and everything's back to normal. Car's fine. Ain't gonna blow up yet. You gotta love the interior, bro. Spaces in the back we put on point. The front, we ran no spacers, and It's not bad too. It's really not bad. The wheel looks like it's turned a little bit, so actually it might be dead. Actually, it's dead straight. Yep. Dead straight. So the front is with no spacers, and the back is with I think it's a 12 or a 20. I forgot which one we put on there, but sheesh. Got a nice little Grand Coupe trunk lip right here. Nice. Obviously some window tint. M mirror covers. I'll put all the links down below of all this stuff where you can find it from his car. But there's a little bit of mods. You know, he got a couple things going on here. Black grills. Now it might have came with it. I don't know, but this car looks real nice, real clean. So I finally picked up the tools from Jamie's crib. Whew. So jack in the back. You guys seen. Now it's time to get cracking on the E90 and some suspension parts. So here's what we got. First and foremost, we have the M3 kit. This kit, control arms and tension strut arms, both on to the E90 chassis, 328, 335, M3. All of them. E91 and E92. Not sure about E93, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't make it any different. I have a ECS coilover kit. It's a cheap coilover kit, fixed. I'm not sure if it's linear or progressive springs, but it was only like a couple $100. I didn't really care. The car was $2,000. So at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. It made a lot of sense for me just to get something that is just as cheap as the car. And it's new. I'm pretty sure it'll ride a lot better than the stock suspension that's on there. One of the main reasons I decided to just go with something like this is because, well, number one, it's cheap. But number two, I mean, all I was looking for was just to make the car a little bit lower so that when I put the wheels on the car, that it would look perfect, dropped, and like flush, you know, really nice. So that's pretty much why I got this. I'm not looking for no handling characteristics, or this is my daily driver. Sure, these things are gonna get rusted out. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it to the height that it came with for now, and then swap it out or raise it and lower it as I see fit. I'm trying to do it before the wheels get in because I just want to be able to throw the wheels on and just, I don't know, have it looking nice. Those are the front. The backs are in the boxes, and we have a couple other things. Really curious to see how the suspension looks. On this car, see if it's anything different from the F and the G chassis, because you guys know I pretty much changed the same exact components on those cars as well. So pretty excited. I don't know. I might take a wheel off. I might take a wheel off, guys. Yo, guys, the days of us enjoying a couple of good pulls, it's like pretty much over. So check this out. Look at that. And another one right over here on Bell. At every couple of blocks is like another freaking speed camera, and the speed limit is 30 miles an hour. And over here, and this is the service road for the highway, and the speed is 30 miles an hour. Like, the 328 is slow, and I could still get tickets all up and down this line. It's crazy. I don't know about you guys, but I think this is like a money grab, to be honest. I don't really see too many people like racing and going that fast over here, because I mean, the streets ain't really capable of that, to be honest with you. These streets are terrible. Look at this. Boom. Oceana, another one. All speed cameras. And the speed limit is typically 25 or 30. And this is what we're dealing with. So that one little pull you guys seen me. You guys seen me get gapped by the oh, come on. You guys see me get gapped by that Civic? That don't happen a lot, man. That can't happen a lot, man. That's a rarity. So things go how I think they are. Right after this intersection, which is Francis Lewis, is gonna be another speed camera, and I already see it from here, so it's freaking crazy. You know? Don't get stressed. I don't know if you guys gonna see, but off camera, I decided to tinker with the suspension a little bit, and yeah, I'll show you how far I've gotten. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm starting to get old, guys. Removed and replaced the control arm and tension strut arm on the driver's side. But I didn't really get the chance to do it on the passenger side. I'm not sure if it's because I'm getting old, it's cold, or I'm just kind of regaining a little bit of strength back from this. So you can tell it's a little towed in. I did a makeshift alignment because when swapping the control arms, I'll show you guys the old versus the new. This is a control arm that comes on the E90M cars, and this is the control arm that comes on the this car right here, the E90 non-Ms. Here you can tell the difference. If you guys aren't fully familiar, this one is a little bit longer and at a slightly different angle, and they use different bushings on this end. I'm not sure about this end. I don't know. This may be the same. Now, to be 100% honest with you, I'm not really doing anything special with this car, no track and anything like that. So, I mean, these arms right here aren't really necessary. I just assumed that since I'm changing them, I might as well swap them out with, you know, the best one that they make, right? Just in case. Who knows down the road. One of the ways you can check to see if this arm is bad when it's on the car, I mean, you just try it around, you'll notice some looseness. Other than that, you wiggle the wheel. I didn't do that. The previous owner told me the control arms were bad, so I just took his word for it. I went ahead and take this off. Now, this is the driver's side, and it doesn't seem as bad. I stuck a flathead in here. Where's my flathead? I can't find my flathead. But you stick a flathead in here and you wiggle around. It has little play, like very, very, very little play. And the condition looks pretty new anyway. And this right here, you just wiggle this around. That moves, but nowhere near is like a bad one. Now, it's designed to move this way, the little play that I'm giving it. In and out is where you'll notice the issues. And yeah, there's no play in or out. Even around too much, there's no play. These are pretty good too. You know, I don't notice any cracking, anything like that in here. And like I said, this side right here is a lot more loose, but it doesn't seem like it's a big issue. Now, one of the ways you could tell if this is a little damage or damage, if you hit the gas real hard from a stop and it has like a little doof, doof like feeling, this tends to be these ones are going. This is the tension strut arm. I would always replace these if you got an older car in pairs with these. I mean, they all kind of sort of do the same thing. So like I said, it doesn't seem to be that different to me, honestly. The bushings even look the same. I just know, just a couple of things. Oh, actually, the bushings are a bit different. So, yeah, the bushings are a bit different. I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, these aren't really that bad. But, and this is a lot more lightweight, I can tell, than this. No, actually, well, they actually feel about the same. Sorry. The M upgraded control arms are longer than the non-328 ones. I mean, than the non-M 328 ones. So you can expect a huge difference in toe in and toe out. The car will be basically undrivable. So when you put a longer control arm in it, you're extending this arm in the back, which toes the wheel in. You'll need to correct that by getting alignment. Or me, I just eyeballed it. You see the wheel is pretty much straight. You can tell it got a lot more camber in it than the other side. And yeah, the wheel is straight. I did my best. However, when you're driving, it's still off. Get you guys from the side. Alright guys, so sorry for the quality right up ahead. I had to switch to the iPhone so I can get back here behind the wheel. Everything new, obviously, is what has been changed. I do recommend changing the tie rod as well. It's the one rusted thing attached to the knuckle, the last one. Rest of them obviously pop. You can see the bolts come right out. Had a little bit of trouble with the control arm bolt. The shift boot was in a little bit of a way. Had to wiggle it out. Comes with a headlight level sensor, pretty delicate, but hey, 210mm, no big deal. I did manage to snap the end-link stabilizer bar, whatever. So yeah, gotta change that too. There you go, building this thing one step at a time. Hope you guys like this video. Like I said, just pretty much getting out of the house. Decided to go ahead and do some stuff off the camera, and yeah, the car is doing fine, guys. The car is doing fine. Just still sucks because it's on stock wheels and stock height, and still not auto flex yet. So it's really hard to see my plans for this car. Oh well, hope you guys like this video. If you do, remember, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe, and I don't know, put a nice little comment in there. I'm about to drive this janky thing back home. Mike from Slow Speed, peace out. I do have a traction control or stability control light that illuminated. It didn't illuminate directly after, but it took some driving, so I'm not exactly sure if I snagged maybe an ABS or like a speed sensor wire over there, or it's just the alignment being so off that the stability light came on. That is a thing on the newer BMWs, like the F and G chassis. I'm not exactly sure if it's on the E's, but I could just very well mean maybe I needed alignment.